Morning Mayhem, Tommy and Casper's live. Dodging bullets of our past, now we strive. Recovery mode, ex-addicts unchained. Current events laced with the scars we gained.
Current events laced with the scars we gained.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy. With me is Casper the Lion, and you're on the Morning Mayhem Show. After the bars, what's happening? Casper, how you been?
I've been good, man. I've been good. I just wanted to sing Karma Chameleon. Do
you know what? She has that effect, doesn't she?
Yeah.
There is no question. That clip that you played yesterday, you know why that cut off? Because they cut that off on everybody, bro. That clip, I went and tried to get a longer version of that clip just to see if I could see the end of it, and I eventually did. But the only way that I did was to find the second half of it, not with the first half of it, and it's on a larger platform, like something that somebody would have gotten from directly from Saturday Night Live, like with approval kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But you just don't see it out there. Yeah, he makes a joke about a conehead. Apparently later on he was going to be appearing as a conehead, and he talked about whether or not you could bite into the cone. But there's a lot of people talking about this, Casper. That's real.
Crazy because I had it. It was on there.
The world is weighing in on the whole Saturday Night Live thing. There's a lot of people that are pretty torqued up at Saturday Night Live. They think it's bad form to bring him on amidst all of that controversy.
Yeah, it is bad form.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be no one is taking this and thinking it's a great idea, and it makes you wonder whether or not this was something Saturday Night Live did. I mean, I guess if you're going to have the guy on the show, and you're not going to comment on this at all, that's not very Saturday Night Live. I wonder if it was their idea. I wonder if they said to him. I mean, I'm sure that this had to be booked, like him to play the conehead or whatever.
I was just
6 or 7 months ago, maybe a year ago. This is the 50th anniversary, right? You got to figure they had the schedule for who was going to do what a long freaking time ago, right?
Yep, absolutely. Probably like 9 months ago, if not a little bit more. And with the way
you got the elephant in the room.
Yep. Then you got the elephant in the room. But man, you've seen the people around them, especially Costner. Costner didn't clap.
Everybody's talking about Costner.
Oh, really?
Everybody. Yeah. All of the big outlets are talking about it.
Since he did Yellowstone, he's come into himself a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Because the Costner, because I delivered a keg of beer to Costner's house one time, and my buddy owned it. It was called Mamie's. It was a wine and liquor store. His parents owned it in La Cañada, and Costner had a house in La Cañada, and him or somebody called down there for a keg of beer delivery. They're having a party, so I was like, dude, yeah, I want to go. It's Costner, right?
Right.
And so we go there. There's a side story to that too. His neighbor was not Nolan Ryan. It was the other pitcher.
Well, that narrows it right down. Hold on a second.
Yeah, the other pitch. It was the Dodger pitcher at the time, super famous Dodger pitcher, not Fernando Valenzuela.
That was the only one that came to mind.
Yeah, that's what I knew it was. So, but anyway, yeah. So I got to meet Costner, and he was just like, "Hey guys, super cool guy. Wasn't serious. Had no attitude or anything." But I bet you since Yellowstone, and he's becoming an old curmudgeon, he's just he's not gonna play by their rules, or clap at Ryan Reynolds or even accept that he's there,
right? I think a lot of people were offended by his presence. I believe that, especially the Hollywood elite, because the Hollywood elite, and I'm not bagging on Costner, I'm not, but the Hollywood elite doesn't want a flashlight on Hollywood. They don't want people like us talking about this. They'd be a hell of a lot happier.
Like that.
Oh,
yeah, I didn't
man.
even think about it like that.
Yeah, the last thing in the world any of those people in Hollywood want. This is the same thing. This is their Me Too 2.0. Right? You know, I bet they were all pretty damn happy when everybody stopped talking about what scumbags they were. And when it's come around on this second iteration of, boy, are we sick of these people, I think it's like we didn't quite get the memo the first time. We thought maybe this was a just a Harvey Weinstein thing, right? Guys. You know what I mean? Like Harvey was a real bad guy, but the rest of Hollywood, that casting couch.
He's
thing.
A fat cat.
Yeah, we ran him off, and now there's no casting couch, so we got nothing to worry about, right?
Right.
No, it's I think that this time around everyone's like, no, you're all lowlives. And it just it keeps coming up again and again and again. By the way, that dude that is the manager that mispronounced Baldoni's name, the guy from William Morris, Ari, the brother of Rahm Emanuel.
Yeah, Ari.
Apparently he settled a very large suit in his past as well. And I think that this is, that came out yesterday. I think that this is one of those situations where for so long, everybody's just been paying people off in that town. And there are so many settled cases of people that you would know and names that are just household names that have been a part of our youth forever, where you'd be like, no, him too, right? Yeah. Not him too. But I think we're tired of it. I think we're sick of it. And I think the proof is in how people are dealing with accusations now. Like Johnny Depp was obviously, there were some accusations made against Johnny Depp that he thought were BS. And he took it right to the public was like, here, man, show the whole world everything that's going on. It was a very public case. Everybody was talking. He said, she said stuff. This is a better version of that. Right? Yeah. For real. This is the Amanda Heard 2.0 trial. And I think people learned from it. I think if you got somebody that's being toxic, people are going to turn into my fiance, and they're going to start gathering all kinds of evidence. If you know you're going to find yourself in a situation where it's highly likely that this person might say something dumb about you. I don't think Baldoni anticipated getting sued, but he sure as hell must have anticipated something, right?
I think he did. I mean, we talked about that privately, that he was because he started recording stuff, and like all his texts were like good, he was writing them like they were going to be read out to the world. My parents used to say, if you couldn't put it on the front page of a newspaper, don't do it or say it.
That must be a generational thing. My dad was super fond of saying, if you don't want the people on the New York Times to read it, don't write it down. Yeah. Because you never know, it may end up on the front page of the New York Times. And there's actually a decent amount of proof to that. Over time, there are so many people that, I mean, as a convicted felon, you ever hear your words like after they've been recorded, or you watch the pictures that they took of you? It changes your life. It really does. I remember going into the worst trap house in all of Nevada. I'm not joking, dude. The worst trap house in all of Nevada.
That is a bold statement.
That's a bold statement. It is. It is a bold statement. But I'm walking in there with my boy Jack, right? And he's going. I was like, oh shit, dude. He's like, they're taking our picture, bro. Yep. Right now our picture is being taken.
Yep.
And there's no way around it. I watched after our show yesterday, I watched a interview.
Taking out my snow boots.
I watched an interview with Baldoni's attorney. He was on with on a show called Hot Mic with Billy Bush. Mm-hmm. Right? The whole Billy Bush got canceled because of the whole Hot Mic incident. Yeah. So he has started his own YouTube channel, and ironically, he has called it Hot Mic.
Good for him.
And I agree with you, man. I mean, if you're going to come back, put it out there, say I made my mistakes. Here it is. I'm a fan of that. Fall on your sword and do what you do. But this interview, his attorney, I mean, you got to hear this guy talk, because one of the questions that came up was, because of Diddy and because of what just happened with Jay-Z and everything else, people are asking the question, how do you vet clients? Like, what is your responsibility, Rule 11 style? How deep do you got to go into somebody's story to make yourself a good attorney? I mean, because it's not your job to be the freaking FBI, but it is your job to vet the person and make sure that the story's not BS.
That's right.
And his response was incredible. He said, I read every single thing that ever went and took place between them. This guy read every email. He read every text message. He watched all of the outtakes. Like, this dude, when he took this case, he also said something, he was prepared in a way that I don't think a lot of lawyers are. And that's why when they say something like, we want 2 years of phone records, and we want, down to where you were when these calls were made, we want locations and all that. His response was, all right. You know what I mean? Like, it's a fishing expedition, but you ain't going to find anything. This guy wasn't trashing anybody. This really, it keeps coming down to ego, Casper, because this is one of those, she can't believe, and her husband can't believe that people hate them. If they're losing 500,000 followers in a month, right, then obviously somebody's sabotaging them, because there's no way that all of the press about his beautiful and perfect wife could all be negative. And what it comes down to is, yesterday in that Billy Bush deal, they had I'll say throw a 2 up in the chat if you think that if you're on Team Ryan Reynolds, put a 2 in the chat, and put a 3 in the chat if you're Team Blake Lively. Well, there, he's got the little thing that you can vote on. Do you think that are you siding with Blake Lively or are you siding with Justin Baldoni? There were 3,400 people or something in the chat. 100% of the people that voted. 100%. Not one person in that chat went, I don't know. Maybe Blake's telling the truth. There wasn't. I mean, you think 12 people are going to be hard to find that look at this case and go, ooh, you're just a bad person. If she's going to take this all the way to the box, they're going to get broke off. They're going to lose a lot of money. Yeah. They need to look for a lawn. Right? They're in Speed Wobble Central. They got to look for a place to ditch. Yeah. Little skateboard shout out to the huge skater community that watches the
I'm actually
Morning Mayhem Show.
Doing that the poll thing in the chat. It's just we won't be able to do it with StreamYard. We'll have to use a different platform, but But anyway,
I don't mind having them throw up the deuces or
no, that's cool too. Way. It's easy to see.
It's easy to see. Everybody can kind of see as it's going, and you get kind of a real time. There's a reason that everybody. This is the future, in my opinion. This is the future of litigation among famous people. There's not going to be any more of this. Well, we're just going to let our attorneys fight this thing out. And even Baldoni, who will not say a thing. Right? He's not in the press talking about her or making jokes about this or doing anything. This guy left the continental United States and went to Hawaii, where he's, kicking it and laying low in Hawaii. But by the way, while he's doing that, he's allowing people whose homes were destroyed by fire to stay in his house. It's just a kind dude, kind guy all the way around. But part of this guy's religion is to treat women well. I mean, that is literally part of the doctrine of the religion that he is a member of. It is going back hundreds of years. They believe women to be equal.
I guess he wrote a book on it.
He did, and had his own podcast, which was, for all intent and purpose, a podcast for it's a feminist podcast hosted by a dude.
They so picked the wrong person, man. it's so funny. But that's good, because God will bring what's in the dark to light, and that's how he does it. Yeah.
And you know why she picked him, right? Because she fell in love with him. I'm sorry, people. It's an opinion, but I'm sticking with it. This is not the kind of vitriol that you get. He let you take over the film. Yeah. Right? Where's the beef? What's your complaint with this dude? You wanted to roll over.
Deadpool gets old, even for us bros. Even us, all us guys who want to just bro out. And this is before all the controversy. We, like you said, I've heard you say way before the controversy that that's Reynolds' shtick, and it's getting old, and it's and just think that she has to live with that, and he's probably super controlling in weird ways. and she just accepts all that. But in turn, it's rubbing off on her. I just seen an interview of her and Parker Posey on this interview that went viral a while back, but I just seen it this morning of Blake Lively just being a super mean girl to this interviewer from Norway.
Classy.
Like Kirsten Flaw. And dude,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
She has a great YouTube channel, by the way. If you ever want to check her out, she has a fantastic
awesome
YouTube channel. Yeah.
And
she's a great interviewer. You know, there was a rumor going around for a long time, and I don't know if you heard this, but that clip of her talking about the baby bump was taken out of context because she had put a hand on her on her tummy beforehand, and they had already talked about it and this and that. It's bullshit. That's an absolute lie made up by a TikToker who, by the way, has completely changed everything about her profile since she got famous. She's no longer claiming to be a psychiatrist.
Oh, I've seen
psychologist.
That.
Yeah,
it's a satire on the back.
Now she's a satirist. Yeah. You're a bullshitter and you got caught. That's what happened to you.
I've seen that yesterday.
Freaking liar head. You got busted.
Stupid liar head.
No, for real. Fat mouth and a liar head. She got busted, man.
Liar and a fat mouth.
What made them think they could pull this over on him? Well, that's quite simple, Karma Chameleon. When it first starts and they start getting a little angry, and I think they get angry because I think maybe Ryan Reynolds read a text that no one else has seen yet. Maybe his wife sent a text that was a little inappropriate. Right? Some of the texts that she sends seem flirty anyway, even some of the ones that we've read, and he doesn't bite. You know, anytime she says something along those lines, he'll be like, yeah, I was just crying because my daughter was having a bad day or something along those lines. Like, she says something that would lead you down. Like, you absolutely could look at it as a trial balloon. Like, ooh, is she getting flirty? At that point, he starts talking about his family. He just doesn't come off as the creep type. But early on in this game, they go over to the guy, William Morris, and they start, rapping with him. And they're like, this guy's a sexual predator, right? And what does William Morris do? Don't trip. I'll fire him today. He's gone. Don't even worry about this. He's gone. So from the very beginning, it looks like very typical Hollywood. We're going to roll over this guy. The two of us are very, very powerful. And this guy, first-time director, bit of a chump. Getting closer all the time, just the two. You and I. No, you're good. It wasn't much of a thought at that point. I think we were pretty much had taken that to its conclusion. But this is typical Hollywood. This is what they do. Time and time again, it's going to be the weaker guy that gets pushed out. So if you're Ari over at William Morris and you've got 3 clients, you've got Deadpool, right? You got Plantation Blake Lively. And then you got this dude named Baloney, what's his name? Right? So he's going to crap can Baldoni way before he gets rid of these two because the Deadpool franchise alone, you know how much money it's making him? So Blake might be a B, lister at best, but her husband's not. That dude's balling, or was. Right? This is I promise you, man, this is a shot to the teeth. And if they thought that was they were gonna go on SNL, and it was as bad as the publicity stunt that he did where he was signing all those freaking autographs, where you looked and there was like 30 people all holding things for him to sign, and every one of them had the exact same poster. And every one of them's poster was taped on with blue tape. It's like it was the most staged, awful appearance that you ever saw. But they're doing this old Hollywood style. For real. Everything they're doing is from the old Hollywood playbook. But this rascal right here is absolutely destroyed the old Hollywood playbook. And these PR firms and all of that, you don't need a PR firm. You need to be a good person.
Yeah.
If you're a shithead, the world's going to find out about it. And it is going to take off faster than anything in the world. And it's like 2 people in an elevator, kind of obvious, right? If one person farts, everybody in that elevator's got a pretty good idea who did it. The internet are sleuths like you wouldn't believe. If they show up on the red carpet and he goes, oh man, I don't want to be here, we're going to know that he whispered under his breath, I don't want to be here. Lip readers, body language experts, we're going to hear every single part of this. So you only got a couple of options these days. You can try to spin it like they've been doing in Hollywood forever, and housewives all across the United States of America are going to take you out with a mouse. Right? They're going to look at this thing. They're going to evaluate this thing. They're going to send enough emails to the behavior panel where they're actually going to take a look at how you were on the red carpet.
Yeah.
For real, right?
You know, yeah. And you know, it's funny, not funny, but interesting is that, you know how like when something happens to a guy, something bad, and it's, you know, it maybe affects them financially, or they need financial thing, you know, because of the William Morris thing, I guess Wayfair is just getting bombarded with like project offers, almost like it's a GoFundMe. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Just lots of project offers. And so like, I don't think he's going to be hurting. I think
his lawyer alluded to that yesterday in that interview.
Yeah.
He's not going to be hurting.
No. Win or lose.
It's the internet. He's a nice guy.
He's already won the public court of opinion.
Yeah. His numbers are going up. His numbers are going up. At the same time, like if the enemy, if your adversary drops 500,000 subscribers or followers at the same time that you're rising by 250,000, I'll be really honest. Like we talked about the other day, I didn't know who Baldoni was. Most people didn't. And what they've done is elevate this guy's status, and at the same time, basically destroyed their careers. In my opinion, I don't know a lot of people that are going to be very fired up. Just to be honest, man, when you're on your phone, how many times do you see a Mint Mobile ad and just feel disgusted? I'm not joking. Every time that ad comes on, I'm just like, oh man, you know what?
Even seeing him on the red carpet, knowing that was after the fact, the present day was just like, ooh, what is he doing?
Everybody's just disgusted. Hey, baby, that's my fiance. Good to see you, Reese. Glad that you were here. Thank you. I love it when Reese stops by. Always, me too. I like knowing she's in the. I like knowing she's in the crowd. Yeah, on the red, all of the stuff that they've attempted up to this point, and they're paying people a fortune, right, to try to rehab their reputations. And I don't believe that PR firms are going to. You're going to need a very new version of a PR firm, because the way that they're doing it now, leaking stuff to Page 6. Right, doing, hitting all of the old things that you normally do, the Hollywood Reporter, Page 6, all of the great gossip columns. Even if you look at you remember when Perez Hilton was like the one that broke stories all over the place and everything else. Now the guy comes out and says something and people are like, Perez Hilton, what is it, 2007? We've gotten to a point where we're the most jaded society in the world. Yeah. And the technology is moving faster than that industry, and it's going to destroy Hollywood. I'm telling you this right here. In the past, the leaks never got out. We didn't know what was really going on. And then on top of that, if the leaks did get out, and a small group of people heard about it, they might tell 5 friends, who might tell a couple of friends, but it was around the water cooler, right? It was at bowling night. You might go, man, did you hear about that Blake Lively shit? Boy, that's crazy, huh? Those guys are psychos. But now it's like something crazy happens, and in 2 seconds, you can text the entire world, and I've seen what a lie can do and how fast a lie can move. And that's what Blake Lively was hoping for. That's what her campaign was hoping for. There was a group of people that were going to astroturf, just put down this fake seeds and get these stories out into the mix and into the ether. If you go over to BJ on BJ Investigates, she does a deep dive on this, on exactly how the astroturfing thing goes down, and probably does as good a research on it as you could possibly do. She did a deep dive on Reddit, right? I'm not a Reddit dude. I don't,
recently?
I'm just not. Yeah, recently. I'm not a Reddit dude, but she explained kind of how Reddit goes down and how you can manipulate.
I'm sorry, dude.
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, the way she filmed looked like it was. She was definitely not at her normal location, so my guess is maybe she's still in India.
Okay,
cool. But I'm that's not my platform. I don't understand a lot about it. But the deep dive that she did into it, it's not just a matter of people going over and trashing people. Professionals can pay to have people trashed and to manipulate the results in such a way that you start the rumor mill that the internet then picks up, like people on YouTube will go to Reddit to look for stories, to look for information to trash people and all of that. Reddit is a source, and that is the worst piece of news I've ever heard in my life. Reddit is a frickin' source. But I think all of these things are going to create a smarter consumer. We've been getting BS'd by that industry. If you think about what they do for a living, how hard do you think it is for these people to spin a story? Right?
Yeah.
They spin stories every single day. They have writers. They've got, like, this is something they spend a lot of time thinking about. So the publicists and all of these lowlives who work with these PR firms that then, leak these stuff to newspapers. It must be great to be a gossip columnist. I mean, what do those friggin' people do? You sit and wait for the phone to ring, and then someone sends you the article written about their client, and you put it in there or you don't. And I'm sure you get a nice watch if you put enough nice articles in there. Right?
Yep.
If you're working with them, they got to be kicking you down a little something for trying to rehab Blake Lively. And you know what else I heard, which is just bizarre? A little side note. So one of the biggest writers on SNL is the new husband of Scarlett Johansson.
Yep, that's right.
That's freaking funny. So this is their big night. This is Scarlett Johansson and this should be a big night for her husband, and she's got to look at her ex in the audience. That must have been a bittersweet moment to look out and go, "You loser."
I guess he's got his own show too, outside of Saturday Night Live, and I can't remember the name of it. I just heard it this morning, and he does some Deadpool skits that really clown on Ryan. And I looked for it, and I couldn't find it for this morning, but hopefully I can find something for tomorrow.
Is this the Hollywood version of a diss track?
I think so.
Like the scene in with Nice Pool where he gets shot in front of the burning sage forest.
I don't know.
I mean, is this what these guys do to get back at each other? Man, if somebody sexually harasses your girl, you should hit them with a bat. I don't think you should.
Oh, I don't think you should make I thought you were asking me something different.
This is what these guys do. Like at the end, they're putting names into into the credits, and all of these stupid little, like, leaving little breadcrumbs of evil and hate throughout a film. But they're doing it in such a way that people are laughing at your wife's alleged right sexual harassment or abuse. That doesn't make any sense.
It's exactly right. Like, dude, I made a post like 7 months ago on Facebook, and I'm hardly ever on Facebook. I said, I will no longer work. If you're between the ages of 19 and 24, I will no longer tattoo you. Don't come to my shop. Don't text me. Don't hit up my apprentice or my shop girl. And everyone's like, oh, why? Because they make everything awkward. They want to be bullies with the way they talk, and their asses can't cash the check that they're writing. Do you know what I mean? This kid kept making my 19-year-old apprentice cry. Kept making her cry. And he was like 24, I think. Bigger guy. I ended up having to, I had to check him once, and then he did it again, and he was in the shop I own. So I ended up putting my elbow in his throat and pinned him up against the mirror and told him, quit it. And he's like, oh man, you got violent, man. Get violent. Where do you got to go with the violence? I'm like, this isn't violence. You haven't seen violence, brother.
Right.
I'm telling you.
I made a first attempt
to quit it. And he got it. And he never came around again. And you know what? She no longer cries because of this fool, because he's not picking on her and picking on her art style. And, and she's an amazing tattoo artist. And so it just blows me away. So right after that, I was like, look, just stay away from me. All of you awkward, entitled, I don't even know what generation you are. Stay away from me. Because even they, like, say I'll be tattooing on a couple, like a boyfriend and girlfriend, of that age and of that weirdness, and they'll be texting each other, while I'm tattooing them,
sitting 2 feet apart from each other,
sitting 2 feet apart, like, and then making like little smirks and, and doing little things. And I don't care if it's good or bad, if you're talking about me or not talking to me. I feel like it's disrespectful. So we're done. We're done.
Do you know what I find ironic? I'm one of my biggest fears always. I used to tell my brother this. We've talked about it. The last thing in the world I want to do is bum out the dude with the tattoo needle.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. You're not going in and buying a pair of shoes that somebody stitched like 6 months ago. You really need the dude to be having a good day. You know what I mean? It's an artist, for God's sake.
Yeah.
You really don't want an artist that's not in a good mood or is angry at you or any of those things. That's just plain stupid, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, that is absolutely stupid.
Did
you say, did I hear a rumor of word salad? So wait, just briefly, if by some chance that the news of their filing breaks, right? Then we'll let you know, because they are amending today. The judge did not give them the window that they wanted. They wanted weeks to go on a fishing expedition and have time to amend their book, right? She had all the receipts. She handed them over to the New York Times. What the hell does she need to? But anyway, the judge gave her a day. So that has to be in at some point today, and if that pops up, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's all she's got coming.
A day. NC
well, Vice President Kamala Harris has graced us with a speech so incomprehensible, so devoid of meaning that it could be mistaken for an AI chatbot malfunctioning. So let's break it down. She starts with an enthusiasm, always a good start, but then, oh no, here comes the word salad express. I'm just gonna have to just not have ChatGPT rewrite my monologue. You know what I mean? So I write this big monologue, and then I just say, "Hey, rewrite this for me," right? You know, I mean, it's cool. We use it because we got it, but
she has brought me the amount of joy, and I know that this probably sounds awful, but I honestly, just because I speak for a living, this kind of stuff tickles me in a way that I can't explain.
Yeah,
fire it up. Let's see what she's got.
Yeah, here we go. So this is she went to see a play, and they're like, "Oh, could you come speak to the cast?" After the show, and and she's just watch her mannerisms and try to understand what she's saying, and then we'll break it down a little bit. For what.
Oh my goodness.
I don't get out much these days. But spirit's tired, but not
spirit's tired.
Don't let anybody do that. Because then what do we have left? When we think about like these moments where we see things that are being taken, but also let's see it as nature abhors a vacuum. So where there's a vacancy, then let's fill it, right? And let's know that the reality is that the progress of our nation has always been about the expansion of rights, not the restriction of rights. We're seeing a U-turn right now, for those rights to be maintained, which means we have to be vigilant, and it's just the nature of it. This beautiful play and everything that we know he was suppressed. He had to suppress so much. But he knew, and he took those risks. But we have to be clear-eyed.
Last part's inaudible.
And it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right? These things all coexist. But I believe we fight for something, not against something. And that's our optimism, right?
Thank you so much.
We're not doing that, by the way.
With
With that, I'm out of here.
So we're not doing the that was the cast.
In case everyone didn't exactly hear what she had to say, I happen to have exactly what she said. Okay, so
she uses a lot of public speaking. There are phrases that she uses again and again and again in almost everything that she uses. There are certain phrases that come up a lot. Let's see what she got.
Yeah, so here we go. So she goes, because when we think about these moments where we see things that are being taken, but also let's see it as nature abhors a vacuum. And then she says, we have to be clear-eyed, but that doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right? These things all coexist. And then, there goes my vape. And then, when we fight for something, we are not fighting against something. wait, no. When we fight for something, we are not fighting against something, which is the same thing.
Yeah.
She just said the same thing. And then, yeah, dude, she just needs betters in her life. She needs someone to be there and be like, lady, hey, that's the same thing. You know what
There
I
was
mean?
a great skit.
What are you even talking
Way
about?
back in early Saturday Night Live had a skit where Chevy Chase was playing Jimmy Carter. And he gives an answer, or no, he may have been doing Gerald Ford, but he gives an answer at a debate. And the guy says, you still have an additional minute and a half, sir.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, to reiterate, and he just spits out like 9 phrases that don't mean anything.
Right.
And I feel for her because I feel like, number one, there is a rumor, right? This is alleged. There's a rumor that she's a day drinker, and I take no joy in that, right? But there's a rumor that this woman's got, and her. If you look at speech patterns from her, say a decade ago, and compare them to speech patterns for her now, something has changed dramatically. And I believe that she's got a drinking problem, and I believe that the word salad stuff probably started around that time. There's been some horrific problems with teleprompters. If you ever if you're a public speaker and a teleprompter goes down, most people can roll into whatever is at least rote, right? Stuff you've said so many times that it's rote. You don't have to think about it. And as a public speaker, you're on the road so much. You've been reading the teleprompter for 4 months. If it goes off, she panicked. I've never seen a speaker more uncomfortable with the fact that the teleprompter was out. I took no joy in it. It was one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever watched. My brother, though, said he really, really enjoyed it.
See, here's the deal, though. Like, I lightweight get it because, like, even when first going on YouTube and doing lives, you're thinking you get a little nervous. You know, you're like, okay, I want to say something. It doesn't have to be epic, but I want it to be not convoluted, right?
Right.
And so, imagine being her and not a great speaker, knowing she's not a great speaker, because she's not dumb. I mean, she's got, a law degree and all these other things.
She's not dumb by a damn stretch.
Right.
She's a very intelligent person.
Right. So but I think she psychs herself out like the whole world's listening. Not just, not like me, like, it's YouTubers or YouTube, people. The whole world's listening. So whatever I say is going to be heard and picked apart. So, that's got to be, kind of scary. And I'm not trying to make excuses for her, but I mean, that's got to be some of it.
And I've known a bunch of speakers.
She drinks to feel comfortable.
Yeah, exactly, man. There are so many speakers that wind up with a drinking problem because they're not, in the beginning, it's one shot. They do one shot of booze because, and this is, I'm not trying to advocate, obviously, but one shot, what alcohol does in the body is fascinating, right? The first part of your brain that alcohol numbs is, it's why people put lampshades on their head and dance on top of countertops. Your inhibitions, the first part of your brain to get drugged is going to be the part of your brain that deals with inhibitions. And when your inhibitions are lowered, you're a lot more likely to go out and just be very, very relaxed. The trouble becomes like everything else. The next time you do it, you're really nervous, and you take one to talk the nerves off, and then and pretty soon, if you're doing this during the day, that's a fairly serious problem. Yeah. And it's just what these people go through, and I will make excuses for her, legitimately, because what these people go through is absolutely insane. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you're running for the presidency of the United States, first of all, you can't go anywhere that you don't have an army of people that follow you. Like the only time you're literally alone is if you're going to the crapper or you're going to sleep. They got people around you at all times. The press and having to show up constantly with people barking stuff at you. I would imagine it's got to be one of the most intimidating things that anybody could could undertake. Yeah, it's like it's your first day of being a YouTuber. For a solid friggin' year, right? Yeah. Right, with a much larger stage and a much larger audience.
Yeah,
There'll be no hall passes. We give those out for the first 15 minutes. After that, you're beat.
I seen someone in the chat say she speaks in cursive. That's pretty funny.
That's actually not such a bad way to put it, man.
No, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, we'll immortalize that.
She talks in cursive. Yeah,
I like that. James Collins Cares has a slightly different philosophy. He says, "Wet brain."
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping it's not that far gone. But certainly, look, we've had other presidents that were horrific speakers. One of my other favorites to really groove on the gaffes was Bush.
Groove on the gaffes.
George Bush was just he was the gift that kept on giving.
No, he was great. He was
Junior W, not his father.
Yeah, no, his dad was.
Hey, can you find? Is there any chance of finding that clip where he does the "We don't get fooled again"?
Are you insulting me right
Fool
now?
me once. I'm sorry. I don't know what I just said, Casper.
It
was a holiday weekend. It's my only excuse. Is I'm coming off a 3-day weekend here. But because that's one of my all-time favorites when he does the "Fool me once."
Yeah.
No, fool you. Well, if we don't, you don't get fooled again. Right? He was.
You don't get fooled again.
He really, if he had done this one, if he had just tossed out a hook 'em horns, he probably could have dodged all of the BS, right?
Yeah.
For real. Because if you're going to screw up and do the
who needs stinking notes? I don't need stinking notes. Right? Yeah, here, I'll find it.
Badges.
By the way,
so we're going to have to revisit the Jay-Z thing. There's a lot of people that still have a lot of questions, and I still have a lot of questions. They ran the hell out of the Southern District of New York, but there are still cases where these guys are still firing back and forth at each other, which makes you wonder why the hell they took away that Rule 11. That just really is odd to me, man. Why, with all the hate and everything that you're doing, what in the name of God did you drop that for? That just stinks, man. That does not smell even remotely appropriate. My girl is so funny. She just sent me a great quote that somebody else butchered, but I cannot, unfortunately, read it. But Quibs is just funny as hell, man.
She is so funny, dude.
No, she keeps.
All right, here we go. Let me push play.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you."
He's already fucked it up.
If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
You can watch dude's great.
Too many good docs are getting out of business. Too many OBGYNs aren't able to practice their love with women all across this country.
And in his brief remarks, the president drew a...
I don't know what's about to come up, so I don't want to keep it playing.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Yeah,
it really is, dude.
And you know where I found these on his... He highlights all this stuff on his YouTube channel. Yeah,
I absolutely would. I mean, what are you going to do,
people to the
man?
channel.
Yeah, it's out there, man. That's your highlight reel right there.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. You're not gonna have me like making sense. I would have me talking gibberish.
I'll give him credit though. I'll give him credit when that dude whipped the shoe at him and he ducked.
Oh yeah.
Also, that's got to be on his highlight reel. Also,
yeah.
He got like for real. That's the Saturday Night Live skit waiting to happen. Who throws a freaking shoe at a president?
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
for real. That's top shelf stuff. That is top shelf stuff. Yeah, you have to laugh at yourself at this point, says Jeremy Fowler. And here's the great thing about being an independent, right? Truthfully, like if you really are an independent, it's a lot of fun to be able to just rack on both sides when they're screw ups. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the Queen Gaff. There are so many great. The Bushes were the gift that kept on giving when it came to gaffes. And didn't the old man hurl on the somebody from Japan?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Right? Because nothing says diplomacy like a little Technicolor yawn on some official sitting next to you. Good God.
A little Technicolor yawn. I used to say that in high school. What's that from?
So,
Technicolor yawn. I used to say that. That's how I described it. And I would say float an air biscuit. If you're gonna,
that was another good one too.
Out the other end, yeah.
The other end. It is better to give than receive.
Rubber biscuit.
The guy is now walking with one shoe. I believe he threw them both, if I'm not mistaken. I think the first one was way off.
No shoes. Yeah,
I think he had to go out of there barefoot and handcuffed because the first one was way off, but the second one he had to go.
But he had bracelets. Lost some shoes,
exactly.
gained some bracelets.
Yep, the kind that clip behind your back.
Don't tase me, bro.
Dude, didn't you love the "Don't Tase Me, Bro" guy?
Yeah, don't tase me, bro.
I was watching a guy the other day. He was a cop that was being sentenced by our favorite judge, the black woman. But they were sentencing this fool because he was tasing cops while on duty at jail. Like you like the supervisor, you'd go walking by him and he'd go and just give you a little dry taste on the way by. And people would come up and say, "Hey, I need the clippers. Bringing them over to Unit 3. I'll give you the clippers, but only if I can tase you." Yeah. So apparently this dude was like tase happy as hell, right? But I love this, bro. They get to the end of this, and what made me bring this up is I used to get tased by staff. Like they would say I'd go, "Hey man, why don't you give me a little bit of that chew?" I'd have a can of chewing tobacco, and I don't chew, but when you're inside, nicotine is nicotine. I'd be like, I'll take a dip of that, right? Anything for a head change. And he said to me, "Yeah, man, I'll give you half a can if you let me tase you." I was like, "Get busy. Right? I'll take a tase. Where's that can at, right?
Yeah,
bring another half can tomorrow
if you want."
Every day, bro. Come on back every day. As long as it ain't pepper spray. So the judge says to this dude, "Here's the deal. I will let you walk out of this courtroom today without a record for this. Because this is felonious, right? I will toss out the felony so that you do not have a record. I'll give you a 4-year suspended sentence, and all you got to do is 30 days in jail. Or I'll let you walk out of here with a felony conviction, and you won't have to go to the county jail for 3 days." It's the same county jail where he was tasing the people he worked with. What do you think he did? He sallied out of it. That's what he did, bro. I'm sorry. That's what he did. He said, "I'll take the felony." Man, you're going to have a felony on the record for the rest of your life because you can't pull. That's what
Excuse my language,
bro.
guys. I hate that word.
You can't pull 30 days.
What?
You know what it comes down to? He thought that those people were going to abuse him like he was abusing them when he was in authority. Dude was only 24, but he was a training officer. And I think that judge is a gangster. She's always going off the record. She's always coming up with some of the most. And
she always gives people ultimate, like she gives them a choice. Like, here's your two choices.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And it's such a great indicator of, gives you an idea what jail's like. Here's the dude that worked in one, right? He won't do 30 days, less than a month, right? To avoid having a felony on his record for the rest of his life.
Wow.
You candy ass.
I don't think he quite grasps how serious it is to have a felony. I mean, and neither did I. When I was picking them up, I didn't really realize how serious they were. I mean, it's a serious thing.
It chases you for the rest of your life. And it definitely affects things. You know what I mean? There are places you're not going to live. There are jobs you're not going to have, and there are rights that everybody in this country has that you will never have again. It's a fairly big deal. It really is. Finding
housing where I live now with a felony is super hard. We always have to find a private landlord, and then even then. It's more of a deposit.
It changes everything.
It's a lot, Only one time did the guy was just like, "Dude, someone said you're good, and move in." And it was cool. But
if you're going to one that's a large corporation, if you're going to one that's owned by
Western Management or something like that,
you're screwed. You're screwed.
Yeah. They are lightening up here with that, but they are making people pay humongous deposits. But they are lightening up.
Well, I will I will not take any offense with you disagreeing with me, but what I will tell you is that the ability to pass a bar exam, you can con your way through an awful lot of crap, but the ability
California
to,
bar at that is
the ability to pass the bar is not an easy thing to do and requires a fairly decent brain pan. Now, I will tell you that she has changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she has changed. We need something fun to talk about. Yeah.
I personally,
grandpa's lemonade.
I personally think that she has a problem with alcohol, and you know, for better or for worse, this is kind of I don't know. It's certainly, and I'm not asking anybody to agree with me because I'm not beating on the woman. I have a really a big place in my heart for people that struggle with that particular chemical, and if you're drinking during the day, you have a problem. For real. I mean, it's usually a good indicator that you're not using that chemical for how most other people who responsibly use it, right? Mm-hmm. If you're using it as a medication, you're going to end up addicted to it. It's just how it works. So if you need a couple to calm down before you go speak or you do whatever, I'm telling you. And in public speaking, it's a horrific disease. I knew so many alcoholic public speakers. I bet. Yeah, so many of the people that, and the lifestyle itself is conducive to, you know what I mean? It's that kind of lifestyle. You're on the road, you're alone, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The people that work for you, the road crews are always really young, and all they freaking do is party. I mean, that's usually how it worked. They were all on drugs. They were all going out to clubs because they don't have to get up and, you know, all they got to do is stand in the back of the room. They work for about 15 minutes twice a day.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of the time they're just sitting on their hands. So there was a lot of partying, and there's a lot, you know, for a lot of people, they never get over. There are people who go out and work as public speakers who are not comfortable being a public speaker, which is an amazing concept, but it pays so well that there are people that are willing to burn a hole in their stomach to go out and do it. You know, and a lot of drug use too. A lot of drug use. Opiates.
Forbes, I met this cat at an airport, and he was the liaison for Forbes books, and what he did, he went out and searched people's stories, and I just kind of gave him a quick little breakdown of my story, and he's like, look, let's meet more formally when you know, in a couple of weeks, and you know, we'll see. But he's like, basically, I'll give you an advance, you'll write your story, and then I'll send you out on a talking circuit. And I didn't know what that was. And then you'll go tell your story live. And he's like, and I'll book everything for you. It'll all be through Forbes. And man, he ditched me on the first 2 appointments. And then we had the appointment, and the advance was too small. Like for me to take 3 months off. I mean, I was making like $4,000 a week then tattooing, and I just couldn't afford to take the time off. And I said, and I just thought, you know, eventually I'll just write it on my own time and do it, you know, my own way. But I had the offer to do it. I just I think
advance was just too small. The beautiful thing of the world that we live in today is like independent music artists, right? People that are putting out their own stuff. They're screwing off, you know, labels, and they're getting away from what has always been the largest Ponzi scheme in history. They pay you from other people's sales, right? And they've been doing that since the first music sales started. When guys complained that their albums weren't selling, they took records, sales from other people and spread the cash around, and that's never stopped. It's been a Ponzi scheme from day one. The same thing is happening with people who, if you develop an audience and you've got people that already watch you, this is what happened with us. I was in Florida. We had a book deal. And I sit down for the book deal, and the guy says, well, you know, with your connections and the people that you know on YouTube and the channels that you can go on, we're going to anticipate that, you know, you'll be able to move probably 5,000 books. You know, we anticipate that you'll do that on your own. I'm sitting at the table going, what do I need you guys for? Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but if I'm going to sell 5,000 of these things, then what are you going to do to push it? Because if I'm going to be, if I'm doing this, I'd rather maybe just do this on my own. You know what I mean? And when I asked the question, I was like, so You think I'm going to sell how many on my own? You could see the gears turning. And the people that hooked me up with the people that I was working with, I think I really bummed out because I'm sure that there was a commission of sorts or whatever. But it just, the math started to, to not make sense. I'm a huge fan of Ren. Ren is a poet. Tampa B, man, turned me on to Ren when I met her in Florida. And he's absolutely incredible. Talks a lot about mental health and about sobriety, and he's just super talented.
Who Ren
artist.
is? I'm gonna look up Ren.
You'll trip. I promise you'll get really into Ren. I did almost instantly. He is an absolute poet. But there's a lot of other people that are doing this as well. McDonald, that guy is he's not going through the traditional method of selling albums, but nonetheless is a absolute rock star. Now people are doing that with books. Anything that used to be done through that method, anything that used to be done through that method of they're going to take your art, sell it for you, keep almost all of the money, and give you a little bit of cash. All of that, whether it be books, whether it be music or anything, the internet is allowing people to reimagine what could be done, right? It's literally staggering, all of the opportunities. We live in the we live in the new gold rush. Right now, what are we doing? This is people listen to radio shows in the morning. This gives us an opportunity to not have to deal with Clear Channel or any of those others. Yeah, we'll laugh if 2 years from now we're on Clear Channel. So just in case
I met Tom McDonald here in Billings.
Did you?
Yep, I did.
Did you tattoo on him?
No. I offered to, but he wasn't going to be here long enough.
He was just coming through for a tour?
Yeah, yep. I met him at the hotel. A friend of mine was doing something for their production crew or whatever, and he's like, "Man, get down here to meet Tom McDonald." And I just heard about him like 2 weeks before that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he's a Christian, right? Or sort of, or what's going on with him?" And so anyway, I wanted to talk to him, and I got to meet him. Yeah, he was super cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of, and I know this isn't a religious program, but I just found this to be fascinating, so I thought I would share this real quickly. Do you know who has decided that he's become a Christian and has been baptized and gone through all of that? Salvatore Gravano.
I know.
Sammy the Bull, man.
Yeah.
I got a documentary I was watching about it. I mean, you just talk about something,
we're like 2 degrees off from knowing him, so let's get him live.
Yeah, I am absolutely 100% working on that. And he happens to live in the same state as me as well. And it's funny because a couple of years ago, I was talking with somebody and we were putting a list together of people that I absolutely, like if I could have the dream interview, that was one of them. So I would jump at the chance. And I know that I'm going to get an opportunity to meet the cat. So we're going to see what happens because that is coming.
That'd be dope.
Pretty fired up about it, and I know that
good for him too.
Come down, yeah, people come down on both sides of this. There's a lot of people that are going to always hate Sammy, and there are people that the rat jacket thing is something that people freak out about pretty heavy. But if you research that case, if you and I were in business, and killed people and stuff, and they came up to you and said, hey, listen to this, and it was me saying, yes, Casper needs to die, you might not be willing to hold your mud anymore.
I promise you 1,000,000% that fool never would have ratted. Not in a million years. He would have done his time.
He had all kinds of opportunities to rat throughout his entire career and never did.
Yep, and never did. And
they were going to kill him. That's what he heard. They put a light bulb in the Hunt and Fish Club, right? The Bergen Hunt and Fish Club. They bribed the woman that was the cleaning lady, and they went in and changed out a light bulb and put a recording device in there. And they listened to John Gotti on a rant talking about how Sammy was out of control and he needed to be killed. He wanted Sammy gone and this and that. And they just went and played it for him. Hey, listen to this.
Yep. And if John said that's what he wanted, John would have got that. And he knows John's a serious dude because John bled in and murked his way up to the top. He didn't just get appointed.
No, Sammy had done a lot of hits for him. He knew that the guy ordered hits. He wasn't afraid to have people removed.
Yep.
Even for personal reasons, right?
Yep.
He killed people that had nothing to do with the business because they angered him.
Yeah.
Allegedly, he's gone. I could probably say that, but he wasn't. He wasn't a great
John Lazon says, if you want to close the show with my video of your song, crank it up. I will take a look at that today, John, and then we'll play it tomorrow. But I have to do some things to get it over. First, I have to see it. Yeah, but I'll definitely check it out, and we'll play it tomorrow. Faux show, Ninja.
Cash Kelly. Have you ever heard of the name Cash Kelly?
I haven't.
I have not either. But apparently he's done time in the Tucson, Arizona prison and in Lewisburg. Wow. So he followed a similar path line. I don't know why that name sounds familiar to me, but
Cash Kelly.
Maybe because it sounds like something else. It just sounds super familiar to me,
though. Someone. Yeah, no, I do know who Cash Kelly is. I don't know him personally, but someone just sent me that, or maybe it was Blessed to Crochet. Did you say that in an email too? I think so, or anyways.
Speaking of emails,
someone said that we should get a hold of them.
I got some great help.
Iran and Truck Outline.
She sent me a fantastic email with a ton of good research in it. I love it when people do that. Not just, hey, I got a theory, but you know what? Hey, here's kind of my theory, and here's a bunch of footnotes and things that back it up. That's always fun. Helps me go in rabbit holes that I may not have gone in, and I do appreciate that stuff.
It's so hard because I have tattooing, family, and then 3 channels that, you know what I mean? And I feel like I don't have enough time for a lot of it, and I'm in marriage counseling, so
you need to defer to the kids.
Yeah, I have to have family time, and it's hard. Like I'll be here at 1 a.m, and Mariana will wake up and she'll get pissed that I'm in here.
I can see that. I mean, I could see.
I mean, yeah. I mean, to an extent, but I'm in grind mode. You know what I mean? I'm about to not be able to work, and I'm in grind mode, and I want the YouTube thing to take off. So I can take Hazley to Disneyland and take Mariana out of the state of Montana. She's never been out of the state. You know what I mean? And I want to move out of here. So, but you know what I mean?
Did you tell her the air's not as nice everywhere else? Because you should probably warn her that outside of only a couple of states, that's about the cleanest air you're going to breathe.
Oh, it's super clean.
Nice stuff.
Yeah. And LA smells like urine. It's really a trip when you're up here for any amount of time and then go back. When I go back home, I just smell pee the first week I'm there. Yeah. It's bizarre.
You've been to TJ, haven't you?
1,000 million times.
Okay. So have you ever noticed that if you brush up against anything in Tijuana, it stains whatever you're wearing? No, if you touch a building, if you touch a building, if you touch a road sign, 6 million cars pass through that. Or 6 million people, whatever, pass through that border crossing a day. It's the biggest border crossing on planet Earth.
It's big.
Just the exhaust. I swear to God, the entire city of Tijuana has got a 1/4-inch coat of exhaust on it.
I remember when it was just 2 lanes in and 2 lanes out. And,
wow.
Yeah. Let me tell this quick story.
Knock yourself out.
So I was 14. My mom found some pot or something in my drawer, sent me to rehab. I ended up going to rehab, and they book me in. I'd say book because for lack of a better term, they get me into this rehab. It's called Coldwater Canyon. They stick me into a group. They're in the middle of group as I'm getting in. The counselor's like, no, might as well just meet everybody in group. They stick me in this group, and I'm sitting. I sit next to this kid, and it's Adam Rich from 8 is Enough, right? And I'm just like, I'm tripping because it's Adam Rich. So like, I'm not even focusing on what they're talking about. And they, gets me and I'm like, yeah, my mom found some weed. I don't have a problem. Maybe a little behavior stuff. I get a little lippy and, and I storm out and go surf, go on a 2-week surf trip, run away from home, come back home because I'm hungry. And they're like, okay. And I go, but I'm tripping because Adam Rich is here. So anyway, me and Adam become really good friends. And I promise you, this is getting to TJ. So he gets out first, but I'm getting out like 3 weeks after he gets out. And he says, hey, when you get out, we're going to hang out. I'm like, okay, cool. He was old enough to drive. I hadn't got my driver's permit, and he had this 4-wheel drive Toyota truck. And he comes and picks me up, comes down to my house and picks me up. He lived in Thousand Oaks. I lived down in Redondo Beach. He comes and picks me up, and his truck breaks down. And so I'm like, well, shoot, we'll just take my mom's car. Well, we end up running away together. We run away.
You and Adam Rich?
Yeah, me and Adam Rich, yeah. We didn't run away together like holding hands and skipping. Not like that.
Kind of sounded it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So we take my mom's car. Adam's driving. We go down to Mexico. We barely have any money. We had a Van Halen cassette tape and a pack of cigarettes and a little bit of money. We go down there. We each get a beer and a shot of tequila. We're 15 and 16. We're young. And we each drink a beer and have a shot of tequila and realize we're out of money. We barely have gas money. And we're in line to leave Tijuana. And you know how everyone's trying to sell you stuff and everything. And
chiclets.
Yeah, and we had ran out of cigarettes and we wanted cigarettes. So we asked the dude who was trying to sell us like chiclets or, a poncho or whatever he was trying to sell us. And he heard the Van Halen playing in the car, and so we traded him the Van Halen tape for a couple of cigarettes. Well, we get back home. So we get to my house. We got to bring my mom's car back. We've been gone for like a day and a half, 2 days, and we took the car without permission. And Adam Rich's parents were at my house, and dude, it was a blowout, dude. It was a blowout. He ended up going back to rehab, but he had a bad coke problem. I had only tried cocaine one time, but anyway, he had a really bad cocaine problem, and so he ended up going back to rehab. I got in a lot of trouble and grounded, but anyway, that was my first time to TJ. Was
it's a rugged town.
Was with Adam Rich and because we had met in treatment.
Now, since we're on the Morning Mayhem Show, I will tell you my my Tijuana story. I get sent to Tijuana by a guy named Richard. He's an old Italian gentleman who he's one of these guys, and his kid is MIA, and he says to me, "I need you to go get my kid." And
the rapper?
back. No. He's just a gangster.
Missing in action. Never mind. Right.
Oh, never saw it. Never saw it. Never heard of it. I don't know any of those things.
I don't even know if there's a rapper named MIA.
There should be, but he's literally MIA. And he says to me, I go, so where is this dude? Because I'm not a detective. I'm not a skip. I don't know how I find somebody. And he's like, nah, he's in Tijuana. He'll be really easy to find. And his old man offers me a pile of money to go and get this dude back. And I'm like, I'll beat the shit out of him, stuff him in a bag, and bring him back for that kind of money. You know what I mean? Like I'm ready to go. He wants to give me 10 racks to go fetch this kid. So I go into Tijuana with a fistful of money, which is a bad thing because I'm addicted to smack, and it's almost free there, right? So the first night I don't even try. I just go to a hotel and I get whacked. And the next day I'm walking around and asking people, and I'm like, this is absolutely pointless. And just as I'm getting ready to bail and call his dad and tell him there's no hope, I say to this woman, I'm trying to describe him. And she's like, Hotel Phoenix. I'm like, for real? She's like, go to the Hotel Phoenix. And she's like, he's a weirdo. He's a weirdo, right? Like Phoenix, but it's Phoenix.
Yeah.
Dude, when I found him, he had hired 2 Smex workers, right? To do it while he watches. and one has every bit of equipment you could ever have as a human being, all of the equipment. So when I walk into this place and I get the woman downstairs, I'm like, you need to open the door for me, because I said I'm here to get this dude, right? Like, so I offer her $50, which I find out later is like way too much money. But anyway, I offered her $50 and she cards me into the room, and when I go in, he's on the couch rubbing out a giggity, watching what looks like a woman and a woman having.
It's the Mayhem Show, folks.
It is the Morning Mayhem Show. But
keep going.
So I fetch him. And I get him back across the United States border, and he says to me on the way back, How much did my dad pay you for this? And I was like, look, man, it's really none of your concern, you know? And he's like, because I'll match it if you don't tell him what you walked in on.
Yeah, I bet.
Swear to you. He could only come up with half of it, but I did get him for 5 racks.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah,
Good for
I said,
you.
I absolutely will tell your father if I don't get. That was my first trip to TJ. It's one of those cities, people. It's and it's so close, right? It's just a hop, skip.
It's so close. Have you been to Nogales?
Yeah, that's right. That's right down the street from here. That's where I go once a week for the huge bottle of G that I keister. No, I've been 3 times. I've been 3 times to Nogales, but yeah, I've been there. I don't get to go there much. Yeah, I don't get to go there. I don't go much, but if there's somebody in town visiting, I'll usually take them so that they can see Mexico.
What's the town just before Nogales on the Arizona side? It's
it rhymes with a different. Every time we go there, I make a joke about it, but now I can't think of the name of it because it sounds like something else.
I have a friend Doyle there. He's a ex-skinhead, and he's there. He lives there with his mom.
You know, every time I drive through that, I think to myself, and I mean no disrespect at all for your friend, but every time I drive through that town, I look at it and go, "Who the hell lives here?"
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like those border towns that are right on the Mexican border. Like I always wonder every time I see them. I'm like, are they there because they do business in
down for the Mexican border?
Nice. Sorry, just got a little research sent my way again, and thank you for those that. Yeah, you know what? I have gotten some of the best stories that I've ever done have come from other people, or have just been a complete and absolute accident. Those are the other ones that tend to be pretty good. But this is the most exciting time to be a YouTuber. The reality of the fact that people have abandoned television. Almost universally have abandoned television across the board, and they're trading it in for YouTube. So this is such a great time to be a content creator.
Perfect time. I mean,
and to be talking about what we're talking about too. This is the hottest stuff out there. It really is.
Yeah. I read a thing about the projection for YouTube, and it's just nothing but outstanding and amazing, and like YouTube really it will be the forerunner of everything.
It's
and I'm
the world's largest search
engine. To plug ourselves and like the cool things that we're doing. But I mean, I think we got in just in time. A little late, but just in time.
Here's the funny thing. When I first started, believe it or not, I actually talked to like some professionals and some consultants and things of that nature. And when we were doing the live stuff, live really wasn't like there was no money in live. If 25 people saw your live feed, then you got 25 views. Nobody ever watched something after it was live. So it has evolved massively. It's really, really changed in just the 3+ years or whatever that I've been doing it. Now there are so many live channels. There's so many people that go live all of the time, and it's. I think it's probably the way of the future. Even really big names. Megyn Kelly, right, left and is doing her own thing this way. Billy Bush is doing his own thing this way. Cuomo. Everybody is going to this route because you're not shackled. If you're working for one of those corporations, you can tell the story, providing you tell it the way that they want you to tell it.
Yeah.
And that's scary. That's, the question earlier, how did they think that they could get away with this? Because this is how they've been getting away with it forever. There's been such a control on the media for so long. And we've always kind of assumed that, we have this independent media. The fifth estate is what keeps our government and everything in line. And the truth is that it has not existed in so long. The days of investigative journalists who go out and chase down stories and figure stuff out, it went away. And now it's back. And the difference is it's not reporters, it's human beings. It's school teachers, and it's moms, it's dads, it's people that just have a little bit of time to kill and can navigate a computer, and they have an opportunity to weigh in on things and give opinions. And a lot of times, I'm telling you folks, if you knew, and I know Casper will agree with me, especially as a convicted felon, you'll be watching a story that they're telling, and everything that they're telling you is bullshit. Like what they're telling you about prison, all of the stuff. One of the reasons that I do this now is because of the Epstein case. Because when I was listening to mainstream media talk about what Suicide Watch was in the feds, and how they show his cell, and he's in a cell with a metal door on it, and it's got 2 bunk beds and there's sheets on the floor, and it's like, this guy wasn't on the watch, man. If you were on the watch, you're sitting, there's a glass door in front of you. There isn't a metal door, and there's a person watching you 24 hours a day. There's never a time, if you're on the watch, when there's not eyes on you. They pay an inmate to watch in 4-hour shifts around the clock, and then a cop has to come by every 20 minutes. There's no way that story went down the way it did. But unless you've done time, right? Unless you're somebody that's kind of been in that situation, you might just go, wow, he unalived himself while he was on the watch. Didn't happen. That whole story was such BS. I mean, when you heard it, weren't you jumping through like? I was, no way.
Yeah,
man.
I was like, no, this is baloney. And you know what? They don't count on now a couple of convicts having a show to talk about it. They really don't. And we're not the only ones. There's a few convict channels that have talked about it. And I don't know if anyone said it like we're saying it. Actually, I don't think anyone has. But they don't count on that, and they don't count on us being a voice. I have this new saying, like, don't be an echo, be a voice. And so that's what we're going to do. Whenever we hear stories like that, we're going to be like, what? No, that's not how it went down. And so it's baloney. And I think eventually it's going to come out. We'll just,
that's the future. That's the future of media. And this is just one example, right? We happen to be convicted
it's just one
felons.
Tiny example.
But there are guys out there that, are the exact same way with science. Do you know how many cases where there's a guy at home who's he went to school to be a crime scene technician or whatever, and they're watching these cases and going, hey, the procedure on this thing was done wrong. I mean, how all of this stuff takes place now, there's an expert watching what you're doing. Plain and simple. If there's legalese involved in any way, there are experts that are going to tear apart everything that you're talking about. You watch Emily D. Baker. She was talking about these experts the other day that built a cannon to fire they built a hydraulic cannon to fire a champagne glass at a tail light because they're trying to see if the story that this person told is true or not. We're living in a day and age, forget being a criminal. Forget if you're a criminal in 2025, you're a desperate drug addict. You're not somebody that took any time to think through it, because I don't care where you are in the U.S., you're on camera. How does anybody get away with anything anymore? They
don't. They don't.
It's impossible. Not for any period your car has GPS. Your car now talks to the towers just like your phone does, right? So you're tracked.
Oh yeah, that's everywhere. Funny. We gave a friend a ride home the other day, and she asked if she could log into my Wi-Fi, and we were in my truck. And I was like, I don't have Wi-Fi. I go, you mean my hotspot? She's like, what, your car doesn't have Wi-Fi? And she couldn't believe that my car didn't have Wi-Fi. I'm like, no, it's a 2014 Dodge Ram. It does not have Wi-Fi. She's like, no, they had Wi-Fi then. I'm like, no, I get they had Wi-Fi. But
this didn't get Wi-Fi.
But this didn't get it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the upgrade package.
Yeah. With the, but her and her husband, they drive new $100,000 Escalades that have night vision, literally night vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, I'm good.
I don't want any of those bells and whistles. I don't want my freaking car driving for me, man.
I don't want $100,000
$72.
car unless it starts with a P and ends with an E.
Yeah, there you go. Well, and if I were going to do that, I want one that doesn't even have a radiator. I used to tell this story.
That's right.
But I had a sick Mercedes-Benz 560 AMG. It was amazing when I was married to the ex. And we also had a Toyota Tacoma pickup truck, 4-wheel drive, locking hubs in the front. And there was nothing in that car that was electric. You still had to roll up and down the windows. Like I remember getting my nieces, and they were twins at the time. I put them in the truck. I was picking them up from daycare. And she was looking at the thing going, how does this window come down? Where's the button? And I was like, it's that handle. She had never seen a crank down on on a car. But every time I took that truck out, if I was getting gas, whatever, someone would walk up and go, hey, if you want to sell this, every time I took it out, the people that prep for the end of the world, the preppers. Yeah, I guess that's the truck that most that is like the most popular one, because there's nothing, virtually nothing on an electric. If an EMP goes off, your truck would be fine. But they fetch more money than you can imagine. There's got to be a hustle somewhere buying those in one part of the country. Gotta be, man. Gotta be a hustle. I'm always looking. Where's that angle?
I forgot I was going to share the tattoo I did yesterday. I was on Reese's live, and I was like, I'm just waiting for my tattoo client to get here. And I said I would share the tattoo that I did on the Mayhem Show, so I'm going to get that together.
Back piece?
No, just
Shoulder?
a forearm piece. It was a cover-up. I did Pennywise.
Oh, no way. Who wants to look at Pennywise for the rest of their life?
This guy
I hate Pennywise, man.
Well, the whole sleeve is Pennywise. So I'm doing like 3 different versions of Pennywise, some balloons, the house.
For those unaware, Pennywise is the creepy clown from the film It.
Yeah.
The only way that I would ever have Pennywise on me, the only way you could make that happen is if it was the Quagmire rendition of it. Yeah. In Family Guy, Quagmire becomes Pennywise in the storm drain. Yeah. That would be the only one that I think I could. Relatable Reese says, Casper, share what you drew for me, please.
Oh, I surely can. Do you want me to do it live right here? I can do it live, or we can.
Yeah, you can do it live.
Okay.
Let's do it live.
Let me get it together. You're going to have to talk, though. Dead air.
Senator Ferguson says, I don't like clowns. And I'll tell you something, I don't like dead air, so you never got to worry about that anyway. You never have to worry about me not talking. I'm a public speaker. Dead air's death. Right? Nobody likes dead air. Quibbs doesn't mind it. You know what? Jane Aldridge says, I drive a 1995 Jeep Wrangler Sahara. It needs a little work, but if the garage door is open, complete strangers come up and ask if I'm looking to sell it. That's another really phenomenal car for people that want things with the without the electronic BS. I'm telling you, man, I'm over all of the electronic stuff. Although I shouldn't say that. Quibbs' car is pretty freaking sweet. That thing does everything. I mean everything. It's but I don't know how you guys feel. I would not be comfortable sitting in the back of a Tesla playing my guitar while it drives down the street. I'm sure you've seen those videos, or the people that allow the car to drive. I don't want a car driving, man. Like I don't. I absolutely enjoy driving. I really do. I don't hate being behind the wheel of a car. I like it. And the book was good. I prefer Stephen King books to Stephen King movies. I don't know that anybody has ever. I don't know that anybody has ever.
Wait, hold on. It's not going to work that way.
My car is a Toyota Prius, and I got my car before there were any.
If I can. There was my initial sketch. This is of the bullfight her. Right. Okay. And then
your daughter hates clowns, Danette McClure. I am of the firm belief that most people. Woofy, she has an old Honda. It's not a new car, but it has it does things. It has a screen.
Can you see that? That's almost complete.
Wow. Yeah, I absolutely can see that.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully
Damn.
she can see that. And then
Yeah, no, everybody can see that for sure.
And then here's her banner for her YouTube channel. That's the
Nice.
banner. The fox. And then I have her. Hopefully I can get it.
Oh yeah, Robert Hall. The only problem with driving, I enjoy driving. I love the feel of the road. I dig all of that. But sitting in that position for any length of time is so bad for my back. It really is so bad for my back. Quib says, really nice.
And then here's my. I can't see it. This was the first rendition I did of the full fox, not just the head.
Yes.
And then here is with the different. Find it. Oh yeah, here it is. And then this was with the different logo. But these are all incomplete. I'm gonna finish them.
Really dig the R and the R. Of course he can. Reese asks, can you tattoo that fox on me?
Oh yeah, of course. I actually got. Remember, I told you, Reese, that I had tattooed a fox recently.
Yes.
This is the fox that I tattooed.
Yeah, he's Casper is an artist. He's left-thumbed. Surprised you didn't know that.
So I designed your fox from the original drawing of this fox tattoo.
Yeah.
That I did.
Kind of a different artist. In all honesty, there's a lot of, and I'm not being disrespectful, but these are the kind of tattoos that a lot of people don't ever see. You know what I mean? It's a very, very different. There are a lot of people that tattoo that shouldn't. Just keeping it real. There's a lot of really bad tattoo artists on this planet. If you're gonna get a tattoo, man, don't walk into a tattoo shop and say, hey, put this on my arm. Look around. Go to a bunch of different tattoo shops. Look at all of the work that the people do. You got to be stoked with the person that puts the stuff on you, man, for real. Casper's an artist.
Yeah. And here's save them kitties, Tommy.
And there's Tommy Scoville saving 2 cats. That is one of my all-time favorite. That is absolutely one of my all-time favorite.
Hat, dude.
The fireman hat with my pimp stripe on it.
Yeah.
It has the pimp stripe. I fucking
So
love that.
funny. I know.
I really do. Yeah, James Collins. If you send me the number, I will absolutely get it to Casper. You get it to me, I'll get it to him. I promise. Yeah. No, you know what? Look, no one's gonna see this. Just put it in the chat.
But that the bullfighter started with that. That was the original layout of the bullfight. Her.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to groove to watching you work. Sit down and start. Especially when you're locked up, that's relaxing as hell.
Yeah, when I go do like big like murals, like when someone pays me to do a mural, I just did one for a dentist about a year ago, and I did the whole side of his building. We had to get like this weird permit. Anyway, it was crazy. Billings is weird about like graffiti, and the dentist came out while I was doing it, and he was like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna shoot it with a projector and then like outline it," and I was like, "No," because he seen me out there with. I had grease pencils stuck in my hat. I had 2 cans of spray paint in one hand and a brush in the other hand, and I was just like, he goes, "It was amazing to see, brother." And I wish I would have filmed it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I wish
not
you
to toot my own horn,
too.
but yeah.
No, if you ever do one again, bro, not only do you have to film it, you got to film it from a couple of different camera angles and do it, time lapse and all that.
I'm gonna do our when we get our YouTube studio.
Yeah, I love that idea, man.
Badass, yeah.
Ian Wallace says, I have a terrible tattoo on my shoulder. Need someone to blend it in as a sleeve. Not easy finding a good tattooist in the UK. That is the ability to also create.
If you can get to Belgium, is it Belgium or Hungary? No, it's Hungary. if you can get to Hungary, I have there's a girl there. She's awesome. I've guest spotted in the same tattoo shop with her. She's amazing. She's super slow though. She's super slow.
When I was
and she charges like $1,000 an hour.
1,000 an hour? Wow.
Yeah, she's way overpriced. Yeah.
and slow. There's a hell of a combo.
Yeah.
1,000 an hour. All right, let's get rolling.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Garçon.
All right.
Garçon.
Yeah, that would drive me
means
nuts.
boy.
Is it possible to get a good gold effect tat that will keep the vibrancy?
Oh, yeah, you lost me on the keep the vibrancy. Not lost me, but yeah, you nope, only when it's fresh, and then you can tell it's gold still, but not the vibrancy. It's just, you see, you go to Pinterest, you go to all those things, and you see all these gorgeous tattoos. And trust me, tattoo artists, we all talk about this. And I belong to forums and all the things, right? And I go to conventions, and when I talk to people about tattoos, we have to start being realistic of what we post. That's why I will always post the healed version. Just to show people like, look, yes, I can do that tattoo on you, but this is what it's going to look like when it's healed. It's not the same. And so when people, because people come in, you didn't do what I asked for. I'm like, no, it was what you asked for when I first did it, wasn't it? But then when it heals, it lightens and the vibrancy gets lost. And people, look, up until about 20 years ago, people were just tattooing outlines in black, and it was only black and gray, and tiny bits of color, that they use for traditional stuff. But like, look, you see those traditional tattoos that, like those are all still the same. Nothing has changed over years and years.
Right.
Yeah, there's neo-traditional now, and there's new school traditional. What I'm saying is this: it's skin. And after it heals, there's nothing you can do. It's gonna lose its vibrancy. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but it's
No, you nailed it.
Yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. I guess what I'm saying is, there's only so much you can do with the medium of skin. Right. And yeah, we can make it look amazing when it's first done. If you're a good artist and the design is good, it's going to look amazing when it's first done. When it heals, it's going to lose its vibrancy. It's going to get that extra layer of dermis, and it's going to dull it. It's going to make it dull. There's nothing we can do. But I have some tattoos that glow, man, that still look great to this day.
That's why I just no color required.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can do a lot. You can do a lot, with just shading.
I do offer a resculpting session within the first 6 months, because people get bummed out, like, oh man, you did that portrait of my kid and it looked like a photograph. I'm like, yeah. He's like, now it's just kind of lost the contrast. And I was like, well, that's what I do. I'll sculpt it out again in 6 months, so you can enjoy it again and it's basically just putting in deep blacks in the corners. I call it cornering. And so like the corners of the mouth, the pupil, like everything, behind the portrait to push the portrait forward. But that's all you can do.
No. It's part of the deal. if you're gonna go
funny. Extra of Germans. What did you call me?
You can
times.
You absolutely can go over the that would be very cool to make it look like Japanese repair work. I had the I had tattoos like that. I had tattoos on my right arm, and the tattoo artist we went over the top. We drilled into the scars, and they covered perfectly. But it took a really, really long time. I mean, he drilled on me forever and ever, and to this day, it is the darkest tattoo you ever seen. It's jet black. But
yeah,
I mean, he drilled on me so long.
I donate 2 mastectomy tattoos a year. And I just have people give me their story and, what do they want? And then, I donate those.
I love that.
to a year. And I do, I cover cutting scars if the person hasn't cut for a year.
Nice.
I
love that.
Love it. Huh?
I really do. I absolutely love that.
They
had that program at Terre Haute. Was it there when you were there?
I don't know.
They had it. That's where when I was at FCI Terre Haute, that's where all of the people from around the country that were having problems with cutting. I can't remember that. Steps.
I
think it's called Steps is the name of the program. But they were they were all in one unit, and they were paying guys where your job was to be the celly of a cutter, and you would get you get a paycheck for that. And I had an opportunity to do that, but the other opportunity was instead I took the and it's paid off because I'm a YouTuber now. But I did my brother's keeper, which is what I was the guy that got paid to sit on the other side of the glass and look at someone who was on a live watch.
Yeah.
So I know those protocols. Like I know those protocols, right? You had to take a test on them and all of that. So that's why I went nuts when I saw the cell from Jeffrey Epstein. There was that just you can't. He was still in the shoe. You know that they remove you from the shoe.
Yeah.
In some places they'll have a unalive cell in the shoe, but when they do that, it is always looks more like the Hannibal Lecter cell than it does like a regular prison cell. And it is the only place in the prison where they will put a camera inside your cell. Right? So not only are you being monitored, but inside the cell, there's a camera staring at you the whole time.
Yeah.
That's not what was happening with him. They lied to us. Thank you, What the Fox.
What the fucks?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, thank you so much.
James Collins Care says, I know tat artists that cover gang tats and hate tats for free when people leave the lifestyle and want a better chance of finding good employment. There's a lot of programs, believe it or not, in the U.S., a lot of them, especially within the federal system, where if you've got hate ink, they will remove it or they will cover it up, or they will pay your bill to go get that done. And there's a lot of guys who with ugly tattoos that right on the way out the door, because you can't walk around with gang ink if you ain't in a gang, but on the way out the door they'll change up their tats so that they can get them removed. You know, like they'll put a Swazi on their girlfriend's forehead, or they'll put lightning bolts on. For real, dude. There were a lot of guys doing that kind of crap before they left.
Yeah.
You know, putting 88s and 14s all over everything so that they can.
I've covered a lot of swastikas. I've covered a lot of them. A
lot of 1488s and a lot of lightning bolts.
Yep, a lot of 13s.
A lot of 13s.
For our Southern brothers.
Yeah, or 14s.
I've never 14s. They can live with that for the rest of their lives, just dumb busters.
I was waiting for Buster, dude.
Yeah,
I would have put cash on the fact that I was going to hear Buster.
Yeah, whack ass Buster.
Uno, dos, tres, nada. They wouldn't even use the number 4s.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't for a long time, but you know what am I doing?
Yeah.
The number
you
4
did a lot
exists.
Of burpees.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did a lot of burpees. They were my favorite gang to say that I was beefing with.
Yeah.
Because like when I got to a place like Pahrump, I didn't want to go into the dorms. No. So when they would do the speech and go, "You got anybody you got beef with?" I always go, "The Busters."
Yeah, the Busters.
Because you're gonna end up in a unit with a bunch of 13s, and I get along just fine with those gentlemen.
Oh yeah. Those are my dudes.
Yeah. It's funny because guys are like, "Oh man, you don't want to get sent to the shoe." I'm like, "Yeah, you do. Have you been here before? You ever been to Pahrump?
Yeah.
Parump's awful, bro.
Are you asking me for real or no?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Parump's terrible, man. You
8
gotta
times?
get into a cell.
9 times? Yeah.
I can't do the dorm living there. It's
No,
just
they always put me in red. I always get put in red just because of my tattoos. Yeah.
You're an STG. You're STG'd, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Specific threat group, STG, in case anyone was wondering. That's when they basically it means you're validated. Mm-hmm. Right?
Security threat group, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, security.
I think it means both, actually. Different.
Could be either way. State versus Fed, maybe. Yeah.
Yep. Security threat group. You a bad guy.
That's right. and not only that, but your friends are bad guys. I think that's really what it comes down to, because everybody in there's a bad guy, but you know what?
You take the cake.
I think he would go with it. Casper, I think you need to tattoo a Swazi and an HH on Kanye's head.
I would do that in a second for free.
Yeah, Kanye's a fascinating individual. There are a lot of people.
Like, why would you do that? Just because I would just love to watch him run around with a big swastika on his head and be an idiot.
Well, you know, I've watched a ton, and I know you have too, of stupid tattoos through the entire process. Like the guy that comes down and says to you, dude, I'm getting FU on my forehead. You know, and when I first went to prison, I was the guy that would go, dude, think about what you're about to do. By the time you've been in prison 14 months, you're going, yeah.
Get it.
Yeah. Do it, bro.
That's
seriously. Do you have the money? Because I'll lend you a couple of flat books if you want to put FU on your forehead.
Yeah.
I was actually in
Where's me vape?
At Black Canyon. After you left, they brought a guy back there, and he had FU written, you know, the full word out written, and it looked like he did it in a mirror with a gun. Like it was so bad. He must have just said to somebody, it looked like it wasn't cursive. There was no script to it. They were just lines. And he managed to break a window in the shoe, the window to the outside. He smashed that window out.
Yeah.
And they beat the barnacles off of him. I had the angle on it to watch
barnacles?
It. Yeah, he busted that window and was trying to pick glass up. And when they saw that he was going for the glass, the 3 cops that were at the door didn't wait for dirt. They didn't wait for a camera. They popped that door open and went in there and just started putting boots to the dude. It was entertaining. I'm sorry, it was.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at the chat. They're talking about Ian Wallace said, whoops. Did we hit it at the same time?
We did.
We did. Surprised it's not illegal to tat a Nazi symbol or similar hate things. It is surprising, and I do have some friends from Europe. I had some Nazi friends that were from Europe, and it is super, super illegal where they were from, and they had to be totally on the down low, and they are no longer Nazis. They're actually they have a coalition. I can't remember the name of it. That's it's like ex-Nazis against hate sort of thing.
Like the Sharps.
Yeah, the kind of like the Sharps. Yep, the skinheads against prejudice. Prejudice.
Yeah,
right.
Racial,
Skinheads against racial. Yeah.
Prejudice. Yep.
Yeah, there's an awesome movie called This Is England. That's if no one has seen it, please watch that movie. It's about racism in Europe from back in the day.
What's it called?
And it's not. This is England.
This is England.
This is England. Yeah,
is it a documentary.
And, it's a No. I'm sorry. It's like a what do you call it? An independent movie.
Yep.
And it's just about this little kid that starts hanging out with these skinheads, and there's one of the skinheads is a black guy too. It's a really good movie, and really they're just friends, and they're just calling themselves they're just knucklehead kids. But it's called This Is England. It's one of the best movies, but really they're racist against other countries, and it had nothing to do with color of the skin, but and it had to do with some war that happened over there. I'm sorry, I'm not too familiar with like the politics and like the wars, but there was some war over there that the little kid's dad was killed in, and so he hated the people from that country that killed his dad. Well, but it's called This Is England.
Wendy Wu says it is a series, then was made into a movie. Well,
really, it was it's a series that made into a movie. See, I did not know that. I just someone had turned me on to it when I first got out of prison, and they're like, "Oh man, you're gonna love this movie," and I'd never heard of it, and I couldn't believe I'd never heard of it. But I'm definitely going to look into the series also.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with any of it.
Yeah. And one of the actors...
But I probably can't watch it.
Why?
I really struggle with films, but
Even like independent underground movies.
If it depends on how many cameras get used, is usually what it comes down to. If there's an awful lot of editing and it comes at you quick, my brain can't.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought it was an ideological thing.
Oh no! It's a
gotcha.
A brain.
No, you could.
Thing.
It's super like filmed with a phone.
Yeah, and the independent films tend to have a lot less cameras. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when they're shooting scenes for Fast and Furious, they've got 70 cameras, set up.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you watch a 30-second clip of film, you're actually seeing from camera angles. There, no one clip that you're seeing is even a second and a half long. But somehow our brain, because we've been raised this way, we assemble it and it looks normal to us. If you were to take an Aborigine that's never seen a movie and put them in a theater and turn that on, it would scare the hell out of your brain.
Yeah.
Because and that's kind of, my brain doesn't assemble it. It just doesn't work anymore.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. I remember when MTV first came out and their logo, it would be like, and have the spaceman come down, with the flag and boom, boom, boom. And I was saying
music?
then, huh?
When they were playing music?
When it was music, yeah. Take on me, take on me. I remember saying then as a kid, I remember saying as a kid then, like, dude, this is like, do we need all this stimulation to be like, to keep our attention? I was saying that in 1981.
Oh man.
As a
things have changed
kid,
since then.
I was like going like, man, this is a lot of stimulation to keep our attention. This is too much. And now, like, I edit stuff that has 40 things happening all at once. It's just all like static. I'm actually teaching somebody to edit today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hobo, good to see ya. Glad that you're here. Cooter by the Lake says, I'm surprised these movies don't trigger more seizures. I think they do, honestly. I think that they do, but I don't think that most people allow it to happen to them a second time. People with traumatic brain injuries, I've never experienced seizures, but I will get a migraine so fast, it's just incredible.
Did you know that it's actually a law now here, like if you're showing paparazzi footage, to have a trigger warning? A seizure trigger warning.
Really? I'll be damned because of all the flashing.
Yeah, if you watch anything like on the Daily Mail, if they're showing paparazzi footage, it'll have a little trigger. It'll say trigger.
Yeah, I mean it should. Honestly,
and it's a good 10 seconds before the footage.
Yeah,
it's a trip.
People with certain disorders are really susceptible to that. It's a real thing. Do you remember when all of the cops started to carry the flashlights that were pulsing, and they went from being flashlights to being light emitting diodes. So there's not a bulb in there with a filament, and these are so much brighter that they would come by at night and they would flash them on the ceiling, and they had to do a mandate across the entire BOP that they had to get rid of the seizure flashlights. Now they will use those, but they only use them for the purpose of disorienting. Like they will pull them out when people are fighting or whatever, but they can't use them to check on you during the night.
Wow.
Those things are ugly, man, for real. They're so bright, and that is, it really messes with me a lot.
I think our cars have the pulsing car, because I was filming a video of Hazley, and my truck was in the background, and my running lights were on. But on the film, the running lights are going like how you used to film like a TV set, and you would see the the green, the refresh lines, my running lights, to look at them naturally looked like they were on, but to look at them in the video, it was going like waving.
Crazy.
Weird. Yeah, and I was like, oh man, the Fed's got some kind of secret light on my car.
That's probably what it is. No question. Tracking device.
So they can detect me far away, to see that it's me. Yeah. That's where my head goes.
Do you remember when the internet first came out and they were selling, you could get the little devices that were supposed to change the light for you? They made it illegal to sell.
Yeah.
They had those little things you could buy for your car and change the lights.
Yeah.
They had all kinds of fun devices.
That's funny. I still do that out of habit. If I get to a stoplight and there's no one ahead, I'll flash my brights real fast. because ambulances have something on their ambulance that can change lights, you know. And so I'll do that.
Yep, a super high blast of light actually does change the light system.
Yeah, I had just did that this morning, actually.
Missy Ann says, I don't go to the movie theater anymore because of the headache I leave with, and I will not drive behind a school bus because they have strobe lights on the top to make them visible. I deal with it. I completely get it, Missy Ann. I absolutely get it. It has caused me to just, you know, and I'm not upset about it anymore, but I'll never watch another film. I mean, it was a bummer for a while. Now that I hate Hollywood, it seems to be a much easier thing for me to swallow. But I watch old stuff. I watch like really great classic TV from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I watch a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it was all shot, almost all of that stuff was shot with one camera.
Yeah, man. Bewitched. Boho Hobo says that, Casper, keep your eyes out for Bigfoot. He's out your way, to be sure.
Sasquatch.
Yeah. There's a lot of Sasquatch hunters out here, which is crazy. And I don't know, I don't know. All I remember is watching, what was that show
$6 Million Man?
No, not $6 Million Man. In Search Of. Remember In Search Of when we were kids?
Absolutely.
And they had that video of Sasquatch kind of like far away, blurry, going into the woods.
Yes.
That's my first memory of Sasquatch, but there was a lot of Sasquatch hunters out here. But Joe Rogan used to believe in Sasquatch, and he doesn't believe in Sasquatch anymore.
He doesn't?
Nuh-uh. No.
What changed it?
He had somebody on. He has a lot of smart people on, and he said finally he's an absolute non-believer.
Yeah.
So,
I believe
believe everything Joe Rogan does.
The Patterson Gimlin or Patterson, that's it's always referred to as the Patterson film.
The Patterson film.
That's the one clip that they've never been able to quite debunk.
Yeah.
That one is
the technology of the time, and they've done everything to the Patterson film, like the way it walked, the way it swung its arms, to fake that
height from tailbone to the top of the head.
Yep.
They've done a lot of research on that particular film.
Yeah.
It's the guy that I tell the story that I get along with you, and then there was only one other guy I would talk to on the street. Well, the two of us, the first day I got to Terre Haute, he and I were walking to the chow hall, and this goober, this white dude who ended up being the biggest turd I ever met in prison, goes walking by us like this, all fast as hell, and he wears these big, massive pair of Timberlands that must be grandfathered in because they're legit Timberlands. But
I got some
he's been
Timbs
wearing
at
them.
Terre Haute. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been wearing them since like 1970. Yeah. You know what I mean? Honestly, the bottoms are coming off. It was just ridiculous. But he refused to tap out and blah, blah, blah. But as he goes smoking by us fast as hell, I've never met the dude, right? It's my first day going to chow. He goes, holy F, guy looks like the Patterson film. And I just started to laugh. I looked at him and I was like, dude, great reference, man. That started our friendship. It was actually him picking on this goober walking by.
Feisty Kitty says she has Sasquatch
He doesn't look like the Patterson film.
Yeah.
Really?
And every time I see
I'm not going to
Pam,
doubt you because.
Go ahead. Oh no, and every time I see Pam Powerwar, is it Power? Every time I see her name, I always think of Mork and Mindy.
Pam Dauber.
Pam Dauber. Yeah, and so. So I keep thinking Pam Dauber's in our chat, and I'm like, oh man.
You get excited for Pam Dauber?
I get excited every day. Every time I see that Pam's here.
So I've never seen Bigfoot, but I have absolutely. I had an experience on Lake Champlain in Vermont. Lake Champlain has a lake monster there that is similar to what they claim they have in Loch Ness. But this one they call Champ because Lake Champlain is spelled CHMAMP, right? It's not. So anyway, Champ is the lake monster, and I saw him. Look, I even reported it and everything, and I had somebody with me. There was a witness. We were actually I was racing sailboats. Little what like a sunfish is. There's a slightly bigger class called a laser, and I was in a laser class race with a friend that was in my teens.
Crazy.
And we bailed on the race because of Champ. And it was I'm not joking you, like 45, maybe 50 feet of something, and then it did this number and then dove, and it created enough of a wake to move the boat.
Huh. Crazy.
It was something. I don't know what the hell it was, but I reported it.
Do you think the Loch Ness monster has passed away? Because you don't hear about the Loch Ness monster anymore.
Here's the problem with that one. Some of them are just like, so Loch Ness it's landlocked, right? There's nothing in there that this thing could eat. There as far as just if you just look at the ecosystem, there's nothing that the Loch Ness monster could feed on that would keep it alive. There's not enough of any kind of food in there to keep something
not
in
even
there,
like
at least,
a plankton type source
right,
of
or
food,
krill or something like that. No, and that's the logical thing is maybe it eats but no, there's nothing in there that could keep that deal alive. So
interesting. Because a cockroach can live on a greasy thumbprint for 30 days.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. That freaked me out so bad.
Yeah. Did someone tell us that, or did
we got it? We got it in a letter. We got it in a letter from my ex-wife when you and I were locked up. She sent an entire sheet of statistics off the internet because
I wonder where I got that information.
Yeah, and I had all of the other ones. They are just the nastiest. There are 32 known diseases that they carry. I had all of those disgusting statistics when I was in there, but
Yikes.
You believe Loch Ness connects to the ocean? Check that for me, please. I'm almost sure that because the documentary I saw on it, they said that because it was landlocked and because there's no food there.
I think that's a true statement that it is connected to the ocean. I was going to say something, but I always defer to you that you're smarter than me.
Well, the documentary that I watched on it was a group of people that were talking about how it is impossible for this to be real based on the fact that if it seems to me if it connected to, or maybe it's a brackish kind of a situation where, we have some inlets in the United States that connect to the ocean, but there isn't any food apparently in Loch Ness is what the documentarians said, that there's just nothing in there that could support that life.
Yeah, it says it's in a lake in Scotland. So
yeah, see, I'm pretty sure it's landlocked. I'm pretty sure that it does not connect to... and Lake Champlain is the same way. And the difference being, they say Lake Champlain has a lot of... so I hear, no, it's a lake, and I hear, yes, it connects to the ocean as per Google. Through the River Ness and the Caledonian Canal. Loch Ness only became landlocked in the 40s, and at high tides, dolphins still get in. Thank you, Jess Gunn.
Got it. Yep, that's what I'm just now reading too.
So it sounds like it's connected, but not to the point where they're going to be getting a whole lot of food from it. I think, it's one of those...
It's connected via the River Ness, which flows through the city.
Kind of like Lake Tahoe is connected to other bodies of water by a lake. by an underground river. It is still... a lake, therefore, doesn't have the ability to sustain life of that size. And Lake Champlain, they say, is similar. The difference being that Lake Champlain does have some fairly large fish that something could be dining on. But
crazy.
Reese has had some fairly odd experiences of the supernatural, and she was telling me about one, and she's like, I took a picture of it. And it actually has a picture of the thing. It freaked me right out. What about Megalodon? You watch too much really bad television late at night.
I was going to say, that sounds like an old Japanese Godzilla versus Megalodon.
What about Sharknado? The three-headed Sharknado? They would watch those in prison religiously, dude. Like, they would get excited for that crap a week before it came. And
I hated it. Well, I didn't hate that. I just hate the people.
But Hobo says it may not need food like other creatures. They live down there with the aliens.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what? Look, I'm not going to rule that out. I'm not going to rule that out. There's a big community of people.
Air. Yeah, maybe it comes up to eat air.
There are people who believe wholeheartedly that
maybe it eats wish
aliens
sandwiches.
have been here forever, but they have always lived in the depths of the ocean.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at the Marianas Trench, the bottom of that bad boy is what? It's like it's 1.5 times what Everest is high, or something along those lines. It's very, 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 very deep.
So deep.
Who knows
So
what's
deep.
down there? Well, that brings us up to the boy. That went quick.
Yeah, it did go. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't have anything more pulled up. This morning was hectic for some reason. Hazley was fighting me tooth and nail to get dressed, and we got her a beta fish the other day, and she's feeding it too much, and I don't want the fish to die because we killed like 30 fish last year, and
Nice.
yeah, so we decided to get her a beta and see how this goes. Yeah.
I had a friend. I think I told this story on the boat once, but I go over to the guy's house, and his girl, who's like 12 or 13 years old, is playing with a little guinea pig. And she told me the name or whatever, and I'm like, oh, he's cute. I said, how long have you had him? And she goes, 9 years. I'm like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
nobody has a guinea pig that lives 9 years. Guinea pigs don't live that long. And I went, wow. So she walks away, and he looks at me, and he goes, yeah, that one's about a year old.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you got to be kidding. He's like, no, man. He's like, I keep finding it dead. He's like, it's all black. He's like, she'll go, he's acting weird for 2 days. And then, he's adopted, and he's the new, I said, man, you kind of get an animal so that you can help the kid learn about death and passing and all that. I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe you need to tap out one of these days and just let Elwood pass away. Whatever the hell the name of the thing was. You know what I mean? I'm like, how many
Yeah.
has there been? He's like 6, 8, I don't know. I'm like, wow, dude, that's freaking commitment right there, man. I'm like, your kid's going to be 38, and that thing is still going to be there.
Our cat Kiwi has taken out 3 of her hamsters. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
and we had a hard time finding black hamsters. Let's put it that way. And
Yeah.
Gosh,
I think I'm going to leave it with that.
there are more things under heaven and earth.
That's right.
Yes,
There's a lot
that's
we don't know
perfect.
about, and I am absolutely 100% willing to tap to that. By the way, we hit 169 today at
Oh,
at
wow.
one point, and I do
Awesome.
believe that is a new record for
Is
the
it?
Morning Mayhem Show. Yeah, and we've been hitting new ones every morning, which is pretty exciting stuff.
Cool. Well,
I dig when that happens.
I want people to check out our rewinds. I've been taking funny clips from each show and putting them up. And also tell a friend if you can. We're getting close to the 1,000 mark. And that'll just be awesome when we can do that.
I love it.
Yeah, we were about 300 short, I think. But man, thank you everyone for coming out today and hanging out with us. I know it wasn't much of a show, but it was a show. But it was a good show.
It was fun.
I know we're just kind of just talking today, but
It's a morning show.
I do enjoy it when we have more stuff put together, and then the conversation that kind of ebbs and flows from that. I love it. I love this show. I love this chat. I love you, Tommy.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man. I look forward to this every morning, but I have to get Hazley to school before the show, and it's like it stresses me out.
It's a morning show, brother.
I know it's a morning show. Yeah.
You can't go wrong with a morning show. you
Yeah,
know?
I wish we could
It's
play
weenie in the
records. Yeah,
right? I mean, this is where you get away with it. So,
yeah.
alrighty.
Well, we love you
us out.
guys. See you guys tomorrow.